How you all doing? Welcome back to the Herbie Design Code workshop. Welcome back to another episode of Business Bites. You might have noticed the beers have been swapped out for a coffee tonight. Winter's coming. It's bloody cold in Canberra in winter at night and a bit too cold for a beer. Tonight I want to tick off the question of where do I sell and how do I sell. So it's a big question that is always a struggle for makers when we're trying to sell what we make. We put our blood, sweat and tears, hopefully not too much blood and hopefully not too many tears, but plenty of sweat into the stuff that we make. And it comes out, we're happy with it, we love it, we're enamored with everything we make. I made the comment the other day, my favorite build is always the one that I just finished because every time we finish something, we think it's the best thing that we've ever made. But we want to sell it where we're going to get a fair price for it. We want to sell it where someone's going to recognize our value and our effort and our hard work that we've put into it. And to be honest, Facebook Marketplace is one of my biggest go-tos for selling stuff. But what you get on there is generally not the best in terms of the way people respond to stuff. But you know what? If I put something up there cheap, people respond to it and want it cheaper. If I put something up there with a fair, even price, that's when I actually get people who are serious about what I'm selling and are serious about wanting to buy what it is. So if I put up fire pits, when I was making fire pits, I'd put them up for $60. I was always above market price. I was higher than what most others were doing. And I still had people trying to sell me down, but I was able to come back to them and say, hey, look, this is why mine's better. This is why mine is at this price. And this is what the difference is. These guys over here selling it for $20, $30, and they might be a drum cut in half and left like that. My product sitting on the other side of the fence at $60. It's a drum cut in half, it's cleaned out, all the toxic paint is removed from the outside, it's repainted in a high temp paint, and it's instantly a product that is going to last you longer and be safer for your family to use, and that's why. And they can come back and go and recognize that they're paying extra to get that value. Those that don't want to pay for that value, they're going to walk away. And you know what? You'll get that. You'll get people who will come at you. They'll go, I want this and I want it cheap and you can give it to me for this price because this is what I can buy at IKEA. Yeah, that's fine. Thanks very much. Enjoy the day. Go to IKEA. I only ever use Marketplace to sell my smalls. So my smalls are the stuff that I sell at the local farmers markets and the local craft markets. And that's chopping boards, or serving boards, all that sort of stuff, coasters. My big furniture, I'll place an ad of something that I've made once. I'll place it up there with the ticket price that I sold it for. I actually don't drive that at all. Most of my work is done as custom work. So people will see stuff that I've done either on my social media feeds, or they'll see stuff that I've done that has been shared with them from somebody else. I'm in the process of preparing to do a big resin river table for a customer who was actually recommended. So I was recommended to the customer in a community notice board group on Facebook by someone who I had never actually interacted with. They'd seen all my stuff that I've done. They followed me on Facebook, saw my social media posts and what I was producing. And when the person asked for someone to do a resin table, I said, go and check out Herbie Design Code. So I had no interaction with that person at all. And that comes back to, we all knew it from the early generations, my parents, my grandparents. The biggest selling ticket for any business was always word of mouth. If you're making great shit, everyone wants to tell everyone about it. If you're making bad shit, everyone's going to tell everyone about it. There's some rule I saw years ago, it was about good and bad feedback and all that sort of stuff. I think it was something like 90% of people who have a bad experience will tell everyone else they know, while only 20% of people who have a good experience will tell everyone they know. So it's a big effort to outweigh that. So for me, that word of mouth is huge. And I used a descriptor with someone on my social media tonight, and that is that social media for me has been word of mouth on steroids. It's taken what used to be the value of word of mouth and blown that out of control. So like I said, I actually don't actively pursue customers for most of my builds. People come to me and they say, I can see what you do, I know what you're working on, and I know what you can produce. And that's when they start talking about the custom pieces. I've got a few customers I talk to quite a bit who are regulars. I've got one customer who is a great customer of mine, is an awesome bloke in town here in Canberra, who bought one of my fire pits back in the really early days, probably 5 years ago now. I think he actually bought 3 of them at the time. He ended up buying drum seats that I was making back then. He approached me to make firewood holders for him. I made outdoor coffee tables for him. There's a wide range, and right from that first delivery I made of his drum seats, we've been discussing a dining table build that he wants to do at some point in the future. Last time I spoke to him, we started discussing a little table build for in his caravan. Like, there's ongoing discussions that I'm having with this guy over and over and over. And that's how I market what I'm doing. It's less about creating a product and putting it out there and trying to sell it, and more about having a discussion with people, understanding where they're coming to. I've mentioned a couple of times I do craft markets, farmers markets. I really only do one because I don't want to spend my weekends at markets. So I do the local Queen Beer markets here in my town, and that's really primarily about getting my name out there. I have a range of chopping boards that I do in between furniture builds, and that's what fills my table. And I have a bit of fun with other little bits and pieces that I want to try and make. If you follow my social media stuff, you'll have seen I made a LED light out of a Jack Daniel's bottle. That's about filling my time in between bigger customer builds, but also about having a bit of fun, playing around with different ideas. I made a resin board using the liquid fire pigment just because I wanted to have a go at it. I'd seen it so many times used by other makers, and I went, I've got some of that pigment, I want to try it. But more times than not, I actually walk away from those markets having had discussions with customers about bigger pieces. Every time someone stops and asks about what I make, say, yes, these are cutting boards, these are serving boards, these are things that I make in between custom furniture builds. The core of my business is custom furniture, and that's what these happen in between those builds. Oh, you make custom furniture. And then the discussion progresses. It progresses into what it is that they want to make or want made, what it is that they're looking for their house, a relative that's looking for something, an idea they've got in the back of their mind that they've been thinking about. And next thing I know, I've got emails, DMs, messages from people who I've met that day asking me about starting the ball rolling on different builds. So don't feel like you have to undersell yourself when you're selling your gear. Don't feel like you have to stick to Facebook Marketplace or Gumtree as the only place you can go to where you know people are going to knock you down. If you are relying on those, like I said, I do, so I'm not going to knock them. If you are relying on them, stick firm with your pricing. Know that what you've priced is what you are worth, and that's your value, and your quality will govern that, and it'll be the basis for that. If people want your quality, they need to pay your price. Be prepared that you will get people knocking you. You'll get people who will come up and they'll ask you for it at half the price that you've got it listed for. And they're the people you go, sorry, this is the listed price. It's a custom made product, or it's a one-off made product, or whatever it is. And let them know, it's a handmade product. This is how much I charge. I hope that helps you out. If you've got any more questions about marketing, about how you sell your products, how I sell my products, how I market my business, how I drive my customer interactions, how I talk people through the sales process, reach out to me on my Instagram, Herbig Design Co., on Facebook as Herbig Design Co., or even in the DMs here on YouTube. I'm happy to chat it through. If you want to take the plunge and really push your hobby forward further into a business, or want to understand how to make that transition and how to build your business and use your business to pay to build your workshop, have a look on my website, herbigdesignco.com. and check out the Maker Manufacturer. It's a specialized coaching program that I've put together to help lead people through that transition. Or even if you just want a one-off call to work through the challenge you've got in front of you right now, that's there as an option as well. Until next time, stay safe, keep making, and remember, don't undervalue yourself, don't undercut your prices just to meet the person down the street.